Well, hello, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Without you guys and you ladies, this literally, and I mean literally, does not work. So, welcome to Jobu Sports Outdoor Studio. We've been working on some things. We did a test run last night on the Zoom call. I had a couple of hiccups, but that is going to be something that we're going to be doing a lot more of. We're going to be live streaming, and you guys that are channel members will be able to actually be in and be the audience. In fact, for our draft, which is, wow, almost just a little over 2 weeks away, you guys are going to be the studio audience that's over here. And for the first time, I'm actually putting together all of the elements for the studio, with the exception of a co-host together right now. And so we're going to go ahead and have a little conversation as we get ready for the draft and see if I actually have all of this stuff working the way that I hope that it will. So the thing about the draft is, you know, one thing that made the Cowboys great back in the day was Tom Landry would find different sources of players where other people hadn't looked. You know, that's where you got Bob Bullet Hayes. They took a track star and converted him into a Hall of Fame wide receiver. They went to small black schools and finding talent where other people hadn't looked. They ended up getting a guy from India who was a statistician who came up with their computer programs to figure out the probability of players being good. Enter Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones has been more of the Kmart blue light special. Now, a lot of you don't know what Kmart blue lights, but back when I was young, before Walmart came through, Kmart would have sales, and what they would have is they would put this blue light on a cart that would spin around, and when the blue light was on, that meant that was on sale, it was on discount. Now, a lot of times, it's kind of like the pre-Christmas stuff. You know, you see that big screen TV, that 75-inch TV for $99. Well, I got to tell you, it doesn't have all the bells and whistles of all the other ones. It's special made to be cheap for that reason. It's the scratch and dent, so to speak. And that has been kind of what Jerry Jones has done a lot in the draft. He's trying to find that supply of players that nobody else is tapping into. That's where you get Jalen Smith. Jalen Smith, who, you know, they weren't sure if he was going to be able to play or not. Jalen Smith had the injury that was, you know, devastating, and some teams thought that he would never be able to play again. You can think of Sean Lee, where the Cowboys picked him up in the second round. He had an injury history. You can even think of Vander Esch. So the Cowboys have, and there, of course, is Randy Gregory, who wasn't an injury. It was, he just liked to get high. You know, he'd like to smoke a little. He'd like to pass the Dutchie from the left-hand side. And in some cases, it's worked. In other cases, you know, it hasn't. And that's what happens when you go to the bargain basement bin. So enter Cleb Farley from Virginia Tech. He was thought to be one of the best prospects going into this draft. Let's be clear. He was one of the guys up there with Patrick Surtain and, of course, J.C. Horn that everybody looked at and said, yeah, he's one of the top ones. He sat out this past year, and getting ready for his pro day, his back flared up. Now, understand he was originally a wide receiver as a freshman, but they converted him to a defensive back. And he had actually hurt his knee back then. So now you've got this issue. And let me make sure I get this straight. Because he did have surgery on it before his pro day, in which case he hadn't worked out. The imaging throughout the physical and back exams in Indianapolis, he was cleared by NFL doctors for the 2021 season. The expected timetable for recovery was 4 months. Farley himself proclaimed that he's on track to meet that schedule. A lot of positive feedback from NFL doctors, Farley said, per Peter King. The NFL doctors confirmed I would be ready for the season, and they told me definitely not a chronic thing. The injury apparently happened during deadlifting drills in a weight session. Okay, and here's the exact breakdown. He injured his lamstratical joint, which connects the L5 and S1 disc, but previously elected for the procedure to repair only the L5. For a year, he was limited physically, although he did not experience the sciatica symptoms. Okay. I hope you all understood all of that. But here's what I know. He got a back injury and couldn't play football. Originally a wide receiver, he moved to cornerback after he missed his entire freshman year due to a knee injury. In 2018, his first playing defense, he notched 36 tackles, 2 interceptions, and a sack. The following season, he recorded 20 tackles, 4 picks, and an interception return for a touchdown in the first team All-ACC campaign. So his disc flared up in March as he prepared for Pro Day, and he'd hoped to show NFL teams that sitting out 2020 hadn't caused him to lose a step on the field. Now I'm gonna again we're trying some new things here on the Jobu Sports Report, and we're seeing how well this all works. So I'm actually gonna try and. Okay, here we go. So we got back to the ads. Okay, let's get rid of the ads. Bye ad. Here are some highlight. Wait a minute. What the heck happened? That's not the right. That's not the one I wanted. Damn. See, this is what happens with broke-ass media, okay? With broke-ass media, you don't have somebody who's there to cue this stuff up, okay? So let's try and see if we can get some of these highlights of him. The question is, as the NFL scouts and stuff are looking at it, that his stock has dropped some. He's hoping that he'll still be a first-round pick. Clearly, if he's healthy, he can play. The question is, as we deal with a Leighton Vander Esch who's, got neck injuries and so on and missing time, is this somebody who you want to take a chance on? Now, here's my thought. There's a couple of things we could look at. Let's say, hypothetically, New England wants to trade, that the draft starts rolling around, and one of these quarterbacks that New England looks at and says, you know what, we kind of want to move back. Move up. And we end up trading with them, and we end up taking the 15th pick. Let's say J.C. Horn is still there, and we take him. We pick up an extra pick. We got 2 second-round picks, the 44th, else Cowboys consider it. Or even bolder move, get your doctors to really check him out, see if you believe that he will be the real deal without issues, and end up trading back and try and maximize the amount of picks that you can get in the top 100. Grab him and look at the best interior lineman, look at getting a linebacker and rolling the dice on him being your starting corner. Interesting thoughts both ways. I look at it and say, if he's healthy, he's better than some of the guys we've had starting over the last few years, because you see him in there. He's swatting away. He's got the length that you like. So we'll be talking more about this tonight. I hope that you guys enjoy the way the set is going. And this is actually the very first time using all of this stuff with the multiple cameras and things. And we're going to try and see if we can upload this, see if it works. And I want to say I appreciate all of the help from everybody who's helped make this a reality. With that being said, I want to. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report.
It's been one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is